Hey everybody, it's Jason and Wanetah. Welcome to today's call with our expert guest, Bayant Singh, who is going to tell you all about his wonderful company, Extendly, who will not only help you with servicing your clients by providing white labeled support, but they also do a ton of other really cool things to really help you grow your agency, which is really exciting and something that I think a lot of people are fearful about. I know when we first started our agency, I spent a lot of time in not only the selling, but also then worrying about the fulfillment and the questions and the things that happen afterwards. So you're basically dancing with a lot of plates in your hand and you're not really able to focus on the selling and growing the agency because you're worried about support and fulfillment. So
Yeah, and you don't even want to get new clients because you're worried about having to fulfill them. So,
exactly.
Uh,
So thank you so much for taking some time out today. I know this is a hot topic for a lot of our followers, and so we appreciate you spending some time. If you wouldn't mind, just tell us about Extendly, what it does, and what you guys do, and how it can help our followers here.
yeah, absolutely. First off, thank you both of you for having me and welcoming me into the community and allowing the opportunity to share this with the folks. So at Extendly, we're really meant to help the businesses keep their expense down, especially in the beginning stages, and be able to become their back-end support team so that business owners can do what they really like the most and an activity that's most important for them as well, which is prospecting, demoing, and beginning on sales calls, right? And not being bogged down as soon as after, just like what you guys said, as soon as after I close a deal, now I got to go run to the other side and provide support and fulfillment and get them onboarded and this and that. That's really where we come in. We do the onboarding, we do the support, right? So that we can be your customer service on the back end. And we're here 24/7, which it adds a big value to a startup or a small company where you can quickly say that, hey, we're a 24/7 support company. We provide you 24 support 24/7 around the clock whenever you get a question. Our live chat's there and helps you compete with some of those larger established agencies, businesses as well, software companies, right? Where, in matter of fact, even a lot of those big, large software companies don't offer a 24/7 support service. Generally, business days, 9 to 5 type of thing, right? And they'll have email support as primary. We're live chat first. One cool fact that I like to always share is that our live chat team gets tons and thousands of chats that come in. 95% of the chats are resolved immediately, either on live chat and or on Zoom. Only about 5% of them get turned into a ticket where we need to come back at a later point, a delayed response, right? I look at tickets as a delayed response that we're not resolving it immediately, that we need to come back, give it more attention, get someone else involved and take a look at it. And that's only 5% of, meaning, so the solution there is almost an immediate, providing in as quick as possible, as fast as possible, a solution to the problem that customer is experiencing. And generally within 20 to 30 minutes, they're in and out of that chat with the solution. Now, a lot of times, much faster as well, right? Depending on the solution, it might just be taking 5 minutes and quick in and out and you're done. But at the most on live chat, 20 to 30 minutes, you're done. You've got a solution and you're good to go.
How does a call go from somebody live chatting to turning into a Zoom support? How does that process work?
Yeah, that's really simple. You take a look at the chats are going back and forth and you're helping the customer and the customer is starting to get frustrated, or the agent feels like, oh, it's not solving the problem. And maybe we're not understanding what they're trying to say. Whichever one is true, then the agent may recommend and say, hey, it looks like it's going to take a while to solve this. At least we're not understanding. It might be beneficial if we can get you on a Zoom call. And then, so we've recently deployed this concept of on-demand Zoom as well, along with our scheduled Zoom calls. So we have agents available that are ready to take a Zoom from a live chat agent and jump on an on-demand Zoom, try to figure out what the problem is and solve it right then and there. And what we've learned is a lot of times, especially when there's that inability to communicate and clearly explain what the problem is through text on chat, it's easier to jump on a Zoom call. In 2 minutes, you're figuring out, okay, exactly what the problem is. And then another few minutes, now you have a solution as well, right? So those guys are on and off Zooms within like 10, 15 minutes. And now the customer's got a solution to perhaps a problem that they were not being able to explain. And then on the flip side, if the customer has explained the problem and there's still, the chat's going on for half an hour, 30, 40, 50 minutes, and it's just not turning into a solution, then we'll do the same thing and we'll say, hey, it seems like it's taking much longer to solve this problem. It would be much easier if we got you on a screen share on a Zoom call with one of our tier 2 techs who can help you solve that problem faster. It's overall just to preserve the experience from a customer. Generally, when someone accesses support, they're frustrated to a certain degree already, just because whatever they were trying to do became a problem and they weren't able to accomplish it just without having to ask for help, right? And then the fact that they're asking for help in support, meaning they're frustrated, or at least that frustration portion is increasing for them. Now, if they get a good solution immediately, problem averted, they're good, they're not frustrated anymore, they're happy, and they'll move on. But if it takes a longer time and maybe the agent is not having a good enough time to understand or the customer is not able to communicate the problem properly, that frustration is going to elevate very quickly, right? And that's what we're trying to solve with the on-demand Zoom or the scheduled Zoom. That way you can have a person you're talking to verbally, share your screen, so that way they can attempt to solve that problem and understand what the issue is.
Awesome.
And do you, I guess to reset, because maybe we went a little too fast, too
Mhm.
far. Basically, what Extendly offers in this form, you have a lot of services, but what we're talking about specifically today is white labeled customer support. So we have a brand for our SaaS that we come up with, Trendify or whatever is what we call ours. Then if somebody's needing support, there'll be a little chat widget down in the right-hand screen where they start chatting, and your Extendly team is not coming at them as Extendly, they're coming at them as our Trendify support team. So it's all white labeled and everything is branded to our SaaS.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're okay with it, I've got a little slide deck
Yeah, that'd be great.
that we can go over that kind of will do a better job of explaining everything that we're talking about. Let me just pull it up here real quick, and then
While
we'll go
he's
over
doing
those
that,
items.
I see several questions too, so please keep chatting those in and we'll make sure we address all of those.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. All right, so can you guys see my screen? I think it says welcome to Extendly on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. All right, so thanks, guys. Welcome, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Well, the first thing I want to say is that you guys are providing white label support. White label software to your customers. And so you're white labeling HighLevel. Essentially, the way I like to take a look at this is you're white labeling their dev team and the product that they've built to be your dev team, right? And then where we come into is now you need a customer service team, a support team to be able to provide you support. So we're your white labeled support team that we're going to represent with your brand instead of Extendly or HighLevel. So think of us in a very similar manner to SaaS. Instead of software we're support as a service. It's probably the best way to explain that. What do? We provide 24/7 tech support in a white label format to your customers. And we're representing ourselves as your company. We do onboarding services where we can onboard a customer for you after they've signed up for one of your packages. We also have a snapshot store. If you're interested in taking a look at snapshots, feel free to check that out. Animation studios, which are explainer videos that are pre-made, so you don't have to go to like Fiverr, Upwork, and try to create your own videos. Those are there all around explaining high level. And then finally, we have another product called Academy, which is helping you, your staff, and even your customers learn HighLevel. And there's a white label course of that as well. So that's that in a nutshell. We've got a very impressive track record that our team loves to talk about all the time. So the slide always stays in there. We're serving currently about or so agencies that are using HighLevel, and they're using our support services to support their customers. That is, last I checked, somewhere around 40 to 50,000 sub accounts is what we're servicing between the 1,000 or so agencies there. We've got over 200 5-star reviews on our Google. Feel free to check out and see what the experience has been for people that are already using us. You can Google Extendly and you'll find our Google business profile there. And we'd like to hear about your experience as well once you join us. So let's talk about what we were just chatting about here a few minutes ago, our 24/7 customer support services, and go over what that looks like. So we've got a dedicated team that's experienced, trained, and managed on your behalf. So think of, like I said, support as a service. When you hire us, you hire the 100 or so team members that we have on our side. that are ready to provide support through that little chat widget that we'll show you in a few minutes to your customers, right? So you don't have to go through the hassles of hiring them yourself, training them, managing them, payroll, this, that, and the other. And we're at a fraction of the cost of you having to hire, even if you're hiring a VA in-house for 8 hours versus us providing 24/7 support to you. You almost immediately get to up-level your customer service through our streamlined processes that we have in support. So you don't have to go out and build your own support processes and figure out what softwares you're going to use, this and that. We already have all of that figured out with lots of experience behind that. You get to just plug in and play to start offering services, and so providing support results in amazing reputation for you. We have a 94% satisfaction score, so 9.4 out of 10 people rate their experience as positive, that their questions were solved, and which at the end of the day, that goes back to you having an amazing reputation because we're providing the service on your behalf under your brand. Yep, like I said, so we're not showing them anything related to HighLevel, any of our knowledge docs, representation from our team. Nothing says HighLevel or Extendly. We're being represented as your support team there. And okay, fantastic. So this is about the widget itself, the software that accompanies our managed services. There's a chat bubble that you get on the bottom right corner, just like your standard chat bubble there. And it's brandable to your brand. Your logo will show up there, and it integrates within your HighLevel seamlessly. Our response time is under 1 minute for 93% of our chats. We definitely take longer too in certain occasions. It may go up to a 30-minute depending on wait times or peak times that we're experiencing, but 93% of our chats are under 1 minute for the response time there. Like I said earlier, our satisfaction is right around the 94%. We're always tracking between 94 to 96% for our satisfaction rating, and that means your customers are rating us 9.4 positive experience out of every 10 experiences, out of every 10 that they've had an experience with us. When you plug Extendly in as your support team, you get to do the things you love, which is prospecting, demos, sales, and winning more customers. Forget about all the support stuff. Let us handle all of that on your behalf so you can focus on your core business and helping it grow. All of our plans include some of these items that we're going to go over here: a customizable knowledge base, a help guide, which are product tours, is Zoom support, live chat, and also a multi-language AI chat translator as well. So if you've got customers that are in other languages other than English and they're chatting in, let's say in Spanish or Chinese or any of the other languages there, our AI multi-language chat widget translates it back into English to us. And then when we reply, it translates it back into whatever the native language that chat was started in back to your customer so that they can chat back and forth in their own language there. And then if you need any help, we do have a HighLevel 101 course that kind of goes over how to set up HighLevel and the best practices there. That's available to you as part of our service if that's needed. You also get our Quick Start Snapshot. Along with it comes an entire course that helps you master the Quick Start Snapshot as well. The Quick Start Snapshot is essentially a set of automations that are pre-built, ready to go for any new account that you sign up. Instead of having to go in and turn on the automation for the chat widget, the Google reviews, or missed call text back, or this and that, all of those are already pre-built, so you don't have to build them from scratch. You just plug it in, and your accounts are up and running in no time. All right, that's about it there. On hopefully that helped understand the service.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a really thorough overview. And I think just to reiterate the point, when we first started our agency, and I know we get a lot of people that message us, one of the biggest concerns is not only do you have this new piece of tech with HighLevel that you have so many avenues you can go down, so you're learning those things. Now you're getting the courage to start reaching out and pitching it to people, but then you get 5 or 10 clients and they start asking you, how do I set up my website, or how do I change this button to red, or whatever? And you start to get overwhelmed to the point that you want to quit, and then they're not getting a great experience, where you could go out and hire a bunch of people, or you could just plug in something like Extendly to that for a fraction of the cost to just take that off your plate so you can focus on growing the actual business.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the mindset difference there is we're coming from a marketing agency mindset into a software, running a software company, right?
Right.
A lot of people, that what we really need to understand is we're not a marketing agency anymore when we're employing and white labeling and reselling HighLevel. You've literally become a software company at this point, right? And you're not charging the 2,000, the 3,000, the 5,000 retainers anymore. You're charging a couple $100, 300, 400, 500. And when you're charging the higher dollar amounts, you have the time and the patience to be able to afford and work with that customer and provide them that dedicated support yourself, right? Or someone of that caliber within your team. Because once you bring on about 10 customers or so, and if you're charging $3,000 or $4,000, you're at a $30,000, $40,000 recurring revenue, you can afford to hire that, right? But it's not the same on the software side. The scale, number of customers is a lot more. The revenue is smaller to be able to make up for that. So when you bring in 10 customers, they already start asking you questions about how do I do this? How do I do that? And you still need to be focusing on getting 10 more, and then the next 20, the next 30, the next 40. You can't afford to take your time and be putting your time into support right out of the gate when you need to scale. Otherwise, if you're selling at $300 a month, you got 10 customers, you're only at $3,000 a month, right? You need to significantly scale that to before you're even able to think about hiring your first hire. Let's say even if you got a VA on who's really knowledgeable on HighLevel, maybe they're pre-trained, maybe they're one of the certified admins or whatever the case is, right? They're not going to, even if it's a VA, they're not going to be any less than $2,000 or $3,000 a month, right? You're not getting them for $500, $600, $700 a month. No way. Because they understand their value, they know what they can provide, they know the knowledge they have. They're at least going to cost you that. And if they're $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and your revenue is only $3,000 a month right now with 10 customers, there's no way you're going to be thinking about, oh, let me go hire that VA so I can provide support.
Right.
You're either going to do it yourself, or you can hire a company like ours and do that at a fraction of the cost. You know, for 10 customers, we're going to cost you $300 a month. That's the price of one customer to be able to support your 10 customers. And what that does for you is frees up the time, like we talked about, right? The things that you need to be doing as a business owner: prospecting, demoing, selling, and talking to more customers so you can bring on customers for yourself.
Right. And just to piggyback on that, even if you are a marketing agency or whatever your agency does, you're providing that service and you want to be the best at providing that service and not necessarily being tech support all the time. So I think even no matter which way you go, if you are a marketing agency and you see the beauty of HighLevel being sticky and having that software being that sticky thing, you still don't want to end up being tech support, because there's also customer support when just providing that service. So I know that was a huge thing for us. When Jason found HighLevel, it wasn't as easy to get started. And sure, now it's just mind-boggling for a lot of people because you can do so much with it. And once he figured it out, we wanted to do everything. So we were offering, like, we can do this for you, we can do this for you. We're just this one-stop shop. And then it came time to servicing all those people, and we're like, man, this is not what we signed up for. Right. So, and
I
you're
feel you.
always going to have tech support issues. You're always going to have technical difficulties, whether you're an agency, no matter what you're providing, or if you're just selling software. So
Absolutely. Yeah, things will always go wrong, even if you train that new customer really well. And unfortunately, this isn't a one-time thing where you spend a whole day with them, like, all right, I got you fully trained. I've taught you everything you need to know about the platform, every single feature we've covered. Well, they're going to wake up tomorrow and forget half of it, right? And they're going to come back and, well, how did you say we do this, right? You don't want to keep going back and forth and answering those questions. So you have to have something in place, because if they don't have a great experience, any experiences related to customer service. Software may do one thing, it may be great at doing whatever it does. Unfortunately, though, if they don't get a great customer service experience, they'll move on to the next thing. And even if it's not as great, just because they weren't able to make the best of it.
Right.
Yeah, I think taking that part off of the plate, because oftentimes we do this whole song and dance, we get the courage, we go and pitch the software to someone, we get them to say yes, they sign up, and then as soon as they have a problem, if it takes you more than a few hours to get back to them, they're like, I knew it. I knew it was a scam. I knew they wouldn't do what they said, but if it can instantly be, at least somebody's working on it, even if it's not solved in that time, even though a majority of your service customer support requests are, at least they feel like somebody, okay, somebody's working on this. This is not a scam company. Somebody is working on this thing. And I love the Zoom support as well, because that can just solve any issue that can't be solved with just chatting back and forth for somebody who
Right.
gets confused. So
Right. It gives you legs to stand on, right? Most of the people, when you go say, hey, this is our software, we white labeled, most of us are not even talking about whether it was white labeled, right? Some of us may be upfront and say, yeah, it's white labeled and it's built on this platform. But especially when we're saying we built this software and we're presenting it under our brand, and you don't have support to go along with that, that's going to be big red flags and question marks in your prospect mind. But when you can come back and say, yeah, here's our software, this is ours, and we've got a 24/7 support that's rated 9.4 out of 10, 94% satisfaction score and things like that. And we answer X many chats within under a minute and so on and so forth. Well, now your customer and that prospect is at ease immediately, knowing they're going in with a trustable company who has some backing, even if the person that they're talking to disappears tomorrow.
yeah.
Right.
And I'll say I see some Q&A in here, so we'll get to those in just a second. But I just want to do one more, I guess, vote of confidence for Extendly, in that every time we do a lot of research on the companies before we bring them on here. We've had great companies like UpX, and we've talked a lot about CloseBot and other companies that I know you're starting to help support some of those people as well.
Yeah.
But when I look in like the high level main groups or things, and I see people asking, who should we use for support? It's always overwhelmingly
Mhm.
Extendly. So there are other companies that do this, but we just know that hundreds, if not thousands of people raise their hand and say, I use Extendly and I'm really happy with them. So kudos to you and the entire team for that.
Thank you.
Um,
It's definitely a lot of work and a lot of hard work goes into play, but it excites me to know that we built a team. We don't have it's not a software product. It's literally customer service as a service, right? And that relies on the behavior your team member has that day to engage with that customer, right? So I'm always grateful of the team to know that they really care as much as they do, because we get raving reviews from our customers.
awesome.
That's great.
Naveed had a few questions here. I think you answered a lot of them in your demo, especially about I didn't even know about the AI language part of it. So that's really cool, because we have people from all over the globe that use
Yeah.
HighLevel. But Naveed is asking about your pricing options. I think you briefly mentioned the 10 user plan, but can you talk a little bit about how pricing works?
Yeah. So it starts at $299 a month for our 10 sub account support plan, which is the entry level. So up to 10 sub accounts are supported in that, and it's $300 a month. 24/7, the entire software is available, 24/7 chat support and everything. It's like a scale. As you're bringing on more customers, you may not be ready to pay the full price. So we're being mindful of that. And then we also do have, I think it's still there, it's 50% off if you go into the annual commitment on that plan. So instead of being $3,000 for the year, it's $1,490 for the year. So people that are willing to get to take advantage of that. Then from there, it scales to our unlimited plan, which is $699, currently at $599 per month price point. And the annual of that is 5,990. And it comes with a few bonuses for you to jump onto the annual side there as well. But that's unlimited sub accounts. Is after 10 as many sub accounts, we have customers that have 3,000 plus sub accounts that are using our support services.
That is amazing. You can't have one employee for that price. You know what I mean? And for this price, you get a whole department. Like, that's
Yeah,
insane. And then you also get the videos instead of us having to create like welcome the onboarding video or here's your high level high school. All these things that we have to do, like you already have it done and
yeah.
it's white labeled. So it just seems
Yeah.
like we did this for you. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We know when you become a software company, you need all these assets and resources to be able to provide a great experience to your customers. So being mindful of that, all of those resources, anything support related is there. It's the knowledge docs, videos to go along with it, even product tours that kind of walk you through what this means, what this section means, and this and that, educate them on a new page or a new feature that might be out there. And now we recently announced a few days ago and self-guided onboardings as well. It's the exact same process that our white label onboarding team uses that we do when we do the one-on-one onboardings with customers. We've taken that entire process and put it into 10 steps that help them walk through and complete the things that they need to complete when someone signs up and wants to get started
Hmm.
with the software.
Awesome. And we put a link in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube later, there'll be a link down below, but it's ghl.pro/extendly. We'll bring you to a place to get a 7-day free trial as well as the half off special for the annual plan. Let's see. Naveed had a question earlier. Would you recommend white label rather than being an affiliate and not needing to deal with the whole stress of dealing with customers? So we do both. We primarily have shifted over to the affiliate side, but we still have several people that pay us monthly, and that has really become a nice balance. I think you should always be somewhat of a practitioner, even if you go to the affiliate side to learn and be up to date on what's happening with the software side. But I like a mixture of both personally.
I think to me, it just depends on what you're doing, right? Like what your goals are, what your lifestyle, your dream is. If I wanted to go like hard in the paint with just the marketing agency side, there's no way I would do it and without a tech support because I would just want to scale that as much as possible, as easily as possible, because that's just my lifestyle, what we want, right? But if I was doing just software sales, yeah, there's no way. Me personally, Jason maybe could do it, but like there's no way I would do that without tech support.
There's nothing worse than having like you start this new thing with HighLevel if you're new to it. Maybe you're alone in your idea of it. Your spouse isn't supportive or whatever the case may be. You're like, I'm gonna start this thing. And then you start getting clients, and then you have that 9 p.m. like emergency, can't get into my account type of question. You're like, oh, and then all those negative thoughts are like, oh, I shouldn't have done this, or it's too much, or whatever, versus just like you don't have you just have support that's installed, and your job is to grow your company.
Yeah, because most people that you're servicing are not techies. They're entrepreneurs. They have pizza shops or they're trying to run their business and they don't want to and can't do the tech part, right? So you just have to have that if you're really going to be in business because any tech problem is always like the end of the world for us non-techies. And in some cases, it's really true. Like the phones go down or the internet goes down or they can't swipe and pay, then that is the end of the world for them right then. And they want that problem resolved right then and there, or
Right.
else you're a fraud and you're a failure. You know? So,
You're absolutely right on that one.
Another question was, you mentioned your AI on the chat, but the Zoom calls are primarily in English, I assume. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, yeah. Zoom calls are all in English. We don't have, unfortunately, yeah, maybe we don't have an AI part on that translates Zoom conversations in real time.
I feel like that's
that's
not
a
far
Zoom
out.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zoom
that might
should
not
be
be
on
far
that.
out. That might not be
Awesome.
far out. That's
Let us
absolutely
know
right.
what other questions you guys have. I'll chat the link out again. And then if anybody has questions about just the process of it, or if you want to see behind the scenes, I know beyond we have about 15 more minutes left. So feel free to chat your questions in. But overall, I'm just really excited to bring this to people and have a solution for them because the biggest reason for failure at the beginning is that valley of despair where you're like, you're trying to service clients and bring on new clients, and it's just like the time is running out in the day. And you also mentioned you guys do onboarding. You have a walkthrough onboarding, but your team, I believe it may be a separate fee, but they'll do the actual onboarding for clients as well. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So, those are the one-on-one onboardings where we do two separate calls. First one is a tech call where we'll set up your email, your domain, connect your Zoom account and calendars, this and that, and get all of the stuff that needs access to your accounts up and running for you. Once that's done, and we'll even do the A2P submission as well for those folks that need the A2P submitted. That's a pain in the ass for most people, but yeah, we'll take care of that for you. And we've got a really high success rate on A2P. We can't guarantee that every single time it's going to be approved because those guys make changes and updates and things come back. But when we start to see similar reasons for it being rejection, we make those updates. And then because we do so many of them, it's easier and faster for us to catch them, update them, and then continue to push through approvals in future rounds. But yeah, that's all done. And then the second call after that is a training call where we'll take the time so you as an agency, you tell us, hey, these are the features that are most important to me that I want my customers to learn about. So we'll take those features, we'll go over them, we'll show them how their day-to-day is going to be like, go into the conversation thing, how they're going to be able to send a message and text, email, right? Book a meeting, how their customers can book meetings with them, how the web chat will look like, we're responding to reviews, whatever the most important things are for you. We'll go over those with them and provide them training on that so that they have a decent understanding on how to start using the software. Then finally, we'll show them the support widget on the bottom right corner, and we'll say, hey, if you have any issues at all, don't worry. Our live chat support team's here 24/7 to help you with whatever problems or hiccups you may run into. So just reach out to us there and we'll help you there. On top of that, we've got these knowledge docs that we'll go over in case you want to search them for yourself. You're able to find majority of the answers here as well.
Awesome.
Great.
And that is, just to be clear too, you guys have like an SOP that's provided by the SaaSpreneur, that like a Trendify, like we would give you a list of things like we only offer our clients the websites and the chat and whatever, so they know how to guide that thing versus showing them all the features that maybe that particular SaaSpreneur didn't want to offer.
Correct, absolutely. So the very first thing we do during the setup process of the white items you don't offer, so remove, take, add, right, whatever the case may be. Once that's done, then we install our onboarding snapshot inside of your account, and it links to your checkout page. So once they go check out, instead of it showing a thank you page and nothing happening after that, it'll start to show our onboarding walkthrough page from that point onwards, where they're presented with a short little video that we ask you to record that just tells them, thank you for signing up. Next step, we're going to go into helping you book a tech call and then a training call. Go ahead and click the next button and get you started on your onboarding, right? And just to go that a little bit of an extra mile for that customer that just signed up. And then from there, they'll book the calls with us and we'll take care of everything else from that point onwards.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So people can get a free 7-day trial, right? And then just see the onboarding process, see how everything, and correct me if I'm wrong, I may be misspeaking, but you guys not only support the customers that we get, but you also support us in a way as agency owners with questions and things that we might be stuck on. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So you have access to that same live chat support team that all of your customers have. So you can go in and test it out and see the experience for yourself as well. Ask the questions that you need to ask. How fast is the team responding? How accurate are they on the answers? That way you can confidently push your clients to also use that, right? So we're big believer of that. You should use what you want your other customers to be using as well. So that's why we have that there. That way you can confidently say, yeah, our support team's amazing because every time I get on there, this is how fast they answer and they answer accurately. These are the type of questions they can help you with. And in fact, once in a while, if they do get stuck, they can't help you, they'll turn it into a ticket, they'll reach out to us or whatever the case is, and they'll make sure it's resolved. And now, being very upfront, we're not perfect by any means. We do make a lot of mistakes ourselves as well. But I think I always say that's where really you can test a company to see how much of a customer experience and solutions are valuable to them as a company. We'll always go an extra mile or two or 5 or 10, whatever's needed to make sure you and your customer are happy. We'll never just leave it hanging. Well, we're sorry, we just can't help you with that, right? Type of thing. We'll try to do whatever's in our power to be able to solve that problem for you. It may not be immediate, right? It may take some time, but we'll work on it. We'll help you with it. We'll figure it out together.
That's awesome. I have some questions. The
Yeah.
initial live chat, do you use AI, or are we talking to someone immediately?
We do have both options available. Matter of fact, here I'll share my screen real quick and show you how that looks like on the back end as well. All right, my screen should be shared. Do we see this little widget popping up and down here?
Yes.
Mhm.
Fantastic. So this is our support widget that your logo and your branding colors and whatever you want to put on here, you can do that. And on the live chat side, so it's built in with that we train on a regular basis from conversations that are happening with our agents. But you also have direct access to chatting with an agent as well. If for whatever reason you want to just skip AI altogether, didn't want to ask that question to the AI, you can go directly to chat with an agent also.
That's awesome. And then as far as the live chat agents, are they all US based? Are they all around the world?
We do have them around the world. Majority of the part of our team is US, Canada, Australia, and UK. And then we have Philippines, Pakistan, a little bit in India, Colombia, Guatemala, Costa Rica. So we need to cover the 24/7 time zone as well. So they're
Right.
spread out in different countries. But we test our agents regularly on knowledge, proficiency, and obviously communication.
And that was my next question. How do you find talent and qualify them and train them?
And we've got a great hiring process in place that goes through several rounds of filtering before we even interview. We were just talking about hiring a couple days ago, and we were looking at from the number of applications we get submitted to us, we only hire a very small percentage, less than 1% of people that get interviewed and hired to our team, and we get thousands of applications coming over to us. So the team's very careful. I've done a lot of hiring in our team myself as well. Well, I've been on the interviews, making sure that we're bringing in the right candidates. So having a good process in place allows us to test for candidates and make sure before they come on. And then after that, we have a whole training program in place where they have 3 levels of courses to graduate from before they're able to jump into chats and take their very first chat to help customers.
Wow, that's
Awesome.
cool.
And think of how powerful that could be if you are actually doing a live demo with someone and they ask about support and you just jump on and start chatting right there and they can see that they're getting an instant response or within the minute or within a few
Mhm.
Yeah.
minutes,
Our own sales team does that. Whenever they need to demo to an agency owner, they'll jump into the chat and they're like, okay, how fast is this thing? Right? Yeah, you said X, Y, and Z, but really show me how fast is it? They'll jump on and they'll send them in. And a lot of times within seconds, they're receiving a response back.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have any final questions, chat them in. We're going to wrap up in just a minute, but I think it is a no-brainer for someone who's starting out, especially if you don't have a technical co-founder or somebody that's going to be doing support with you. You just want to go out and make the sales and really build the business. This is a no-brainer plug and play. For $300. You can get started for up to 10 users, and then they have the unlimited plan beyond that. So it's just really a way that you can scale simply, but also not have to get stuck in support all day long and not be able to grow your business and ultimately go out of business.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I always talk about there's no shortcuts in life that are sustainable for success and growth. But this is a pretty nifty shortcut to
Pretty
having
close to a shortcut.
a good support team in place.
Awesome. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Bayant, for your time and your idea to create this company. There's so many valuable things that you guys do outside of the support. So we'll talk more about those in future videos with your snapshot store and your animations and all kinds of other businesses that you're incorporating into the Extendly brand. So we can't wait to share more about that stuff on our channel as well. Any final words you want to give to our audience?
Fantastic. No, thank you very much, guys, for having me. It was a pleasure being here, being able to share this with everyone. The one thing I like to say is building any business is not necessarily easy, but having focus on one thing only, and continuing to focus on that makes it much easier than having to focus on 10 different things or jumping on every new idea that comes to mind. So when you're going through this journey, definitely focus on the goal of building that business for yourself. And HighLevel is an amazing opportunity, and it is worth giving it time to explore and see where it can take you.
Absolutely. So I just want to close with this because I think this is really cool. We have a comment from Naveed that says, "This has been amazing, and I see those dead ideas reborn." So oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we don't get to hear the good things that we do through business and through our ideas. So we just want to thank you for doing the things that we don't want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Always a pleasure, guys. Again, thank you for having me and allowing me this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you
Thanks.
guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Have a
Have a good
great day.